On the road, Ollie and I are on our way to Ontario. I got our passports, access cards also. We're on our way to Ontario. It was cold this morning. I thought it was going to warm up, but I guess the sun never came out. I'll tell you, I have my winter gloves on, and my feet were actually cold, really cold. It was just a kind of a bitterly cold day. And even moreover, because I thought it was going to warm up, I kept waiting for it to start to warm up, and it just didn't. I had originally had 8 horses to train. I did take in New York off the list. Looked like he got cast. His leg was a little filled up. He jogged fine. He seemed sound as a dollar. And the training trip wasn't like an absolute necessity, so he can train tomorrow. I'm sure he'll be just fine. Now, a number of surprises today. You know, we've been working the horses pretty hard. And I was wondering myself how it would pay off and how it would kind of manifest. How would the horses look today? And then obviously when all this was said and done, I wanted to train Mory. Now, a little update on Mory's situation. Obviously, we're trying to get him ready for the Bunker Hill. And, you know, I'd said to Amy, he trained good today. I trained him in 2 minutes last quarter and 28 seconds. The reason I didn't go faster is because we had to push. Because of the blood work that came back on Freedom Hill, not shockingly, mildly elevated white count and a elevated liver count. We've been dealing with a number of those, as we have over the last 3 years. It's the weirdest thing. So Freedom Hill was going to be entered for Wednesday. We pushed her to Saturday and entered Mory for Wednesday. We did put him on Lasix. It just, you know, and as I was trying to talk it through with Jason and think it through, he had said the most normal, common sense approach, and it made all the sense. Well, he may be fine not to bleed right now, but what if he bleeds in a stake race this summer? You scope him, he's a little flat, and you say, oh, he's bled a little bit. You know, we could nip it in the bud right now, and I think he's 100% correct. We just put the horse on Lasix, so he'll have small doses as he races, and he did have a small dose today. Upon scoping him after, there was no blood, nothing seen, no concerns, so we'll just go ahead and leave him that way. But it was important that we get him in on Wednesday. Now, I had somebody message me that I said, oh, it's nice to see Arrowhead Hanover come out swinging and look good. You know, when is Mory going to do that? And I said, well, Mory was off like an extra 3 or 4 weeks from everybody else. We wanted to give him lots of time to fill out and grow up. I think he deserved it, right? He had the Breeders' Crown, and then we kicked him out in the field for a good, it was two plus months, I believe. Now, in regards to Mory, you have to get that racing into him, right? The biggest thing I wanted to see today was, can he actually trot without the hobbles, or did I have to hold him together? 28 flat in the end of it. He was smoking pretty good in the last turn. It was pretty clear to me that there was no issues with Mory without the hobbles on. So we'll go ahead and race him without them on Wednesday. I wouldn't expect, you know, a lot of people out there thinking that he's going to come out winning like 54 his first start. I want him good for the Bunker Hill. Mory is a little bit different than the other horses. He's kind of a petite horse. He's not this big strapping colt. And I want him to just plateau just as we start to get to the start of the summer, because as many of you know, New York's no joke, right? It's not that the racing is exceptionally difficult. It's the geography of New York. You have to go, you think of how the distance between Saratoga and Buffalo, Batavia. Then you have Monticello, Yonkers, Tioga, all these places with all this vast, as I said, geography around it. It makes for a lot of shipping, and it can really tire the horses out. So you have to have a horse that, one, can manage themselves stress-wise in the shipping department, and two, a horse that's going to stay together, stay sound and comfortable all year long. Mory's biggest downfall has been the fact that he's a little picky with his food sometimes. Amy's got him eating really good right now. He ate great in Kentucky, but just everything is so laid back, and the hay is great, the feed, just everything is perfect when he was there last year, but that's not going to be the case this year. So I want to be as proactive as I can be and make sure that he is eating good, that he stays eating good, that we keep his stress level down. He's a pretty easy keeper, yet he will come off his feet sometimes. So he's been good. He's been really, really good with his feet the last month and a bit, and I want to keep him going in that direction. So there's no need to just stomp on the accelerator with Mory now. I know you're looking at a non-winners of 4 next week and saying, well, he should kill a non-winners of 4. hold on. These are full of aged horses too. It was no joke. Just like Arrowhead Hanover, he raced good, but Arrowhead Hanover had a qualifier in 57, 2 stiff training miles, and they break at the gate, which was still kind of a mile, another training mile, and then you saw Arrowhead Hanover winning 55-1 on a fast track. Mory gets to race on a half-mile track, which makes it a little more complex. So I guess I'm just trying to tell everybody, just Mory is still Mory. Still a very, very nice horse. We're going to race him in New York all summer long. I want to make sure that he's ready to go. His first true test will be the Bunker Hill, I believe, in Plainridge. So, do we race him here this week? Do we go over to the Meadows shortly after that and try and get him a start on a 5/8? That's very possible. We can do that. But it's all going to start on Wednesday, not next Saturday, for the reasons that I had mentioned earlier on. Just scheduling difficulties. You know, at any point, they cannot split that class on the Saturday card. And if they did that, it would cost Aunt Lily a start, where she desperately needs a couple of starts in her before we start to get her ready for the James Hackett Memorial. And if Freedom Hill misses that Saturday, it's not the end of the world. A week off isn't a big deal for her. So that is what's going on with the calendar, I guess, within the stable. You are going to see Memento Mori entered for Wednesday. He did train in 2 minutes. It was a cold, kind of wet morning. 2 minutes, last quarter, and 28 seconds over Northfield by himself. I was really happy with his mechanics, really happy with him in general, and he seemed fine afterwards. We had him scoped and the vet go all over him. She didn't find any issues with Mory, which is also a feather in his cap. So that was the big news of the day. I guess I went with 8 horses. Now in my mind, I had played out already how the training was going to go, what my expectations were for each horse. I knew that Joe J. Foteg and Don't Ask Again probably wouldn't train well by themselves, but I wanted to see, has your attitude improved? Are you taking it a little more seriously? The answer was no. They're still the same, and they likely won't change until they see the starting gate in July. Both mechanically were very good. Both were really sulky by themselves without company. And both fillies won a mile in 2:28, 2:29, I believe. I was looking for much more, but you just weren't going to find it today. But that was the end of disappointment. It started and stopped with the 2 fillies. And again, I wasn't shocked that they did it, but I wanted to see, would they? Now I know they are not there yet. So the 2 fillies trained kind of ho-hum, but as I said, the rest of them were exceptionally good. I started the day, I didn't know if I'd go with Hangar One. You know, he hasn't trained since, man, it's got to be 3 or 4 weeks. We've been galloping. It was funny, one of our clients had said to me last night, they said, well, I know the entire situation with Go Dog Go, his full brother last year, and that horse there was really hot and really fractious last year, and they had to kind of manage the way they trained him too. Now I don't have confirmation of that. I never did ask Carter Pinsky about the colt or any of the owners or anything like that. A couple of them had reached out to me asking how Hangar One was going, and at the time you could tell he was fast but hot. Now this was his first training trip on the trot back. I galloped him a little bit. We went easy for about a week trying to put the weight back on him because he did lose a little bit of weight from the galloping, and I had told you I thought that maybe it was a little harder on him than I expected it to be. So we wanted to put that weight back on. We did. He looked fine today. I said, you know what? I'm going to train him today. I had every intention of training him by himself. Put all his gear back on him. Went out the track and he was quiet. Jeff Conger, and actually Tyler was turning with Jeff Conger. And I said, hey, how much are you going? He said, around 25 or so. A little more than I was going to go, but I told you, I really thought that the underpinning of his entire issues at this point was the fact that between 30 and 40, the transition in speed in there, he was interfering, he was getting very frustrated. So I was going to start him back up when we get to 220. What are you doing? When we got to 220. I didn't expect it to be today. So I turned him, I said, I'll go with you. We turned him the right way with Jeff and Tyler. He was getting a little grabby. I could hear him making a little noise. Well, he goes with his head just tucked, which is annoying. But I don't want to fight with him just yet. So I kind of left him alone. He was making a tiny bit of noise, but he nullified. disappeared as we went through the mile. We get over the half of 1:12. That's not a mile and 25. That's a mile and 19 or 20. But Hangar One felt great. Very quiet, the second half, very attentive to his work, understood what was going on. He's a smart horse. The reason I like him, he's very unique. He's smart, he's got a really smart eye on him, but he does dumb things on the track sometimes. So, just immaturity, right? The difference between why 1 + 1 does not equal 2, in this case, is just the immaturity. Because he is a nice horse. In the barn, in the stall, you walk by him, you can tell. It's a sharp eye on him. Very kind eye on him. He's quiet in the barn for the most part. So why is he so hot on the track? Well, immaturity and interference. So it's been about 3 or 4 weeks since he trained his last full trotting training mile. And that's pretty clear to me as we go by the half, that we're going a little too much. I look down, I look at the watch, I'm like, we're going to go a mile and 19 or 20. Okay? And then I just take stock of how Hangar feels. Very quiet, very comfortable. Especially for him. Exceedingly quiet for him. Around the last turn, I'm sitting there, I said, I'll move him over and see what he does. Coming out of time. I moved him over, boom, gone. Wins the training set, drives off, 220, right on. So a little more than I was going to go with him, but as I said, I thought that 220 level would be a little more comfortable for him anyway. I had no plans on going there today, but I'm certainly not concerned with what I saw. I made sure that I looked in on him. He was the first one I trained around 8:30, so I looked in on him before I left, and sure enough, he was sharp as a tack, felt good, eating his hay. Smart horse. So Hangar One was shockingly good today. I didn't expect him to be bad, but if I'm going to be completely frank, I did not think he would be that good today. I thought he would go out and do his work, and then I would have to reassess what I then saw, whether it be shoeing or equipment or whatnot, and then we would make the changes, and next week he would be good, but that was not the case at all. Today he was spectacular. So very, very happy with what I saw from Hangar One today. I went to go to New York, as I said. Navy said there was a bump there. It wasn't edema. He had banged just above his knee on the gate, or got cast or something. You could tell it was bone. It wasn't super hot, which was weird because it wasn't there yesterday, and he wasn't sore on it to push on it or anything, so it was kind of weird. We just opted to jog him, and I made sure I went out and I was there watching him when he came on the track. Sound as $1. So it's kind of a weird thing. He didn't train today, but I guess he can train tomorrow. Joe J. Fotag, as I said, error and don't ask again, tested me today. I knew when I went out there was a slim chance that they completely turned that leaf over and that they were going to do their work perfectly, but I gave them the opportunity, and not shockingly, neither of them were too interested in training by themselves. It happens. It's not the end of the world. They've both been around 22, and obviously the mile in 28 or 29 today was slower, but not surprising. But that was the end of it right there. Neuromancer, 218. I think he tied up a little bit when I trained him that day in 19, because he still felt drawn out and kind of odd and clunky today, but he did his work very well. He went out and trained very good. I was happy with him. I just was a little surprised at how odd he felt. No hobbles, no nothing, just knee boots, trotting boots behind, head pull, and Murphy blind on the left. He did his work very well. The way he went about it was odd to me. And I remember I was coming off the track, and a light went off. I said, I bet you this horse tied up. I'm not going to go through. I'm not going to spend the $80 to do the vet work on, or do the blood work on him. I'm not worried about it right now. He's going to train on Wednesday, and that's that. So we'll just take it as it is for now. But a good training mile. Rico Tubbs, I haven't sat behind Rico Tubbs in a while. I made that break in the last turn the other day. Put the hobbles on him today. I went a mile in 2:19. It felt like I could have went 2:9 if I wanted. The horse was absolutely perfect with the hobbles on. And I'm sure he would have been perfect otherwise. I had him focused when we turned to go our mile, and he was very, very good. Really pleased with what I saw from Rico Tubbs today. He's a Fearless Peter, did his work well. Went a mile in 2:20, right on, did his work well. I feel a hesitation from him. He's holding back a little bit. What's that, sweetie?
Hobbles.
Yeah.
Isn't it called hobbles?
What's that?
Isn't it supposed to be with a B or B?
No, it sounds like a B, but it's not. It's actually hopples.
Oh.
Yeah. No. had the hobbles on today, you're correct, and looked very good. Now, as good, Hangar One floored me today. So I started my day with an incredibly impressive mile, and I finished my day with one too. The last horse on my list, aside from Mory, who was great also, but my last 2-year-old on the list was Royal Flushdale. I hadn't gone with him a bit. I was impressed with the way he looked 2 weeks ago. We had obviously been castrated and put him on some supplements. The horse looked good. I trained him today in 218, and I'm telling you, I was at the half in 12. He could have come half 103, it felt like. Hangar One just has raw freak talent, right? Just that raw talent that we're trying our hardest to quietly and slowly polish up. Royal Flushdale was just powerful today. He was just very good. Much, much, much better. Vastly improved from the last time I went with him. I was thoroughly pleased with that horse today. So we had a number of horses go today. The only two I said that kind of let me down, but I knew I was about to get it wasn't shocking to me. I just thought I would peek, see, the two fillies. Have you changed at all? You want to do your work now? Okay, no, I'll just leave you alone. They just don't want to train by themselves. Aside from those two horses, I was thoroughly pleased with everybody. But I think Hangar One and Royal Flushdale kind of take the cake. They were exceptionally good today. I guess nobody else surprised me, so maybe that's what it was that it kind of snuck up on me. Royal Flushdale, I knew he had speed, but not like this. I didn't see him like this before. That's, as I said, vastly improved from the last time I saw him go. And Hangar One, I was just shocked how good he was. Off like 3-4 weeks. And these aren't even the same shoes. We just put shoes on him just to jog. These were just shoes. I think he has a half front, half swedge behind, a full swedge up front. Hobbles, knee boots, trotting boots, fat wrap, open bridle, birch bit, maybe a Kurt Davis actually. No poles, no Murphy blinds, and definitely an ear hood, and a dog chain. That's what Hangar had on today, and he did very, very well. So a great morning, a cold morning, very cold. That probably the most surprising thing was I truly believed it would warm up, and it did not. It was chilly, the same cold, bitter wind from 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:15 when I went on the track, or 8:30, right till 11:15 when I left. And I was go, because I had to pick Ollie up at 11:30. Anyway, very happy with the training this morning. Very happy with the way the babies have been doing the work, as I said. Mory will be entered on Wednesday for just logistical reasons other than anything else. Is that we have 3 horses that fit that class, and 2 can race on Saturday. If only one of the 2 could race on Saturday, it would be okay to give Freedom Hill another week, but I did not want Mory or Aunt Lily missing another week. One of them had to go back in on Wednesday, and obviously it was going to be Mory, so he's going to be in to go on Wednesday evening. So now you are all caught up to everything going on. I know James sent me a rather angry, explicit message about this morning. Dominic brought country dancing down to qualify. James said she was pacing great, but she was slow because it was muddy. You blank, blank, blankety, blank. So she got trained. She did as well as she could, but as I said to him, I didn't want her to go Monday back Friday. She's going to race next Friday or Saturday, so it was important she got to work. I'm sorry that it was muddy. She could have trained on Saturday, I suppose, but as it turned out, she's schooling today. Everybody else trains tomorrow. You're going to see the babies. I'm going to go with the babies in Ontario. A set of 5 and a set of 3 are going to go tomorrow morning. And I need to be off the track in this car heading towards Pennsylvania by 8:30 in the morning, or I can't stop at Starbucks. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day. It's only 1 o'clock. Hope you're having a great day wherever you're at. I will talk to you all very soon. Take care.